See you, TMG.
I want to give you this question before we end up.
No.
So I was listening to Stoppage Time TV and they're talking about
Shout out Stoppage Time.
good quality podcast, quality video cast. What they do. Well, I was listening to them and I said, "Who is? Could you name like the most influential footballer of the 2000s? Like, what player has impacted like tactics, football? Like, who's impacted it that everyone else that had to follow it or started the trend that everyone else?
Well, what we say impacted? What way? Talk about to fans. If it's talking about fans stuff, then it's Ronaldinho. But we're talking about
like tactical changes, how a team adapts. Like,
what is this?
Messi?
Huh? It's Messi. Well, you could include.
So like
you could Messi 2000s or 2010s.
2010s, 2000.
Yeah,
It's like the last 20 years. You think Messi?
I think Messi.
Messi's the most impactful. I don't.
He's the one that causes coaches to make the most adjustments, in my opinion, in the last 20 years.
He's the one that caused. But do you think he's had the impact of like say a Neuer where Neuer?
Oh, you changed the position?
Yeah, changed the
I mean,
position.
Messi, he wasn't the one that created like the false nine, but he's the one that perfected it to the highest level. Pretty much, yeah. Penny wasn't really a false nine that I've ever been able to see. So, I mean, in terms of that sort of stuff, and forcing the opposition manager to make tactical tweaks and adjustments, styles of play. Yeah, I believe it is Messi. I mean, who else really comes close? Obviously, Neuer and goalkeeping wise, goalkeepers don't get as much credit as they deserve. No, like again, he wasn't really the first sweeper keeper, but he perfected it more. He's impacted sweeper keeping more than I would say Messi impacted false nine.
How about Makelele? He created a whole kind of gloss of a whole new role. As I see it, like they call it the Makelele.
They do, but those guys doing that before him.
To the same level.
Frank Rijkaard was the holding midfielder, and he's better than Makelele. Contrary to popular opinion. Maybe because he had a bit more technical brilliance to him, they didn't really see him as a holding midfielder. So, okay, Beckenbauer wasn't really. He was a midfielder, central midfielder, and a sweeper. Who's before Makelele? What's his name? Dunga was, and Deschamps. Those guys were doing it before, but yeah, I'm not trying to take anything away from Makelele at all, but there was guys doing it before. Does that make sense? Yeah, who else was there? I mean,
one was mentioned was Perez.
Doing what?
Like he made the inverted winger, like a winger that doesn't stay out wide. That's a goal scorer that will get you double digits.
Are we talking about England or are we talking about European football?
Just in general. England, that's what they mentioned Perez. We can talk in general.
Well,
the last 20 years.
When they were talking, are they talking about more British? Because I'm sure those invert wingers of a high level. Ting was doing it before. Ting was doing it as well. What's his name? Maybe he's more of a midfielder.
But maybe they were talking from what they saw with their own eyes.
Because 4-4-2 was at that time that French guy that played for Newcastle. I forget his name.
Laurent Robin.
Not Robert. I forget his name.
The French guy that played for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Robert.
No,
they won a free kick.
No, that one.
What? You're talking about Ginola?
Yeah. I believe if I remember, he played off the opposite foot, came in field, but his team was more of a 4-4-2 rather than a 4-3-3. Perez inverted wingers.
Perez started it, and then Ronaldo just took it to a whole.
In terms of Premier League wise, I'll give it to you 100%. And in terms of
maybe Figo as well was one of those kind of guys.
Yeah, Figo, great shout. I don't believe he got the goals per se that those guys did.
Perez was getting 11, consistently getting over 10 double digit goals for about maybe like 3 years in a row. Arsenal had Lundberg and Perez, Dad. Lundberg was chipping in with some key goals sometimes.
The Figo wasn't really playing difficult. Luis Figo, they're great.
Figo was not back, man.
Yeah, for Barcelona, I was getting 5 in the league, 4, 5, 7, 9, 7, 10,
Boy,
9, 3.
the guys were cooking in this era.
I mean, overall competitions, 8, 7, 8, 14, 11, 12, 14, 7. Well, Figo was more of a creator as well. Like, he was a very creative player, and he got a lot of assists. And obviously, people seem to forget assists for some reason. But Figo, yeah, he was on a different level to Perez. I mean, I guess Perez is up there, but yeah.
I think Dani Alves is underrated for what he did for right backs. because he was probably one of the most attacking. Like this, we have this whole era of the fullbacks that like attack and they contribute. Danny Alves was like the first of this kind of new breed. Maybe I would actually say Roberto Carlos.
Carlos and Cafu did it, but they didn't do it in the way that Alves did it. Alves did it as someone that kind of came in field and was creative. I've always said Alves was technically good enough and had the brain to play centre midfield. Even for some teams, he probably could have played 10. That's how good he was. And Alves came in field and changed it. Like all those other guys were more overlapping guys, up and down, getting on outside, putting their crosses in, getting some shots. But Alves came in. He dovetailed lovely with Messi, excellently with Messi, that sort of stuff. Those guys, I mean, they did. Now you see guys making more underlapping runs. I mean, to the credit, Pep was, the orchestrator of all those sort of things because, his teams do make underlapping runs. You see Arteta now getting his fullbacks to make underlapping rather than overlapping runs, that sort of thing. So Alves is a very good shout. Like I said, you Cafu and Carlos are up there as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
And who was like the ball playing centre back? Who brought that back? Because at a time where the centre backs were not, they were not. They just were. Yeah.
Who brought that back? PK was up there, but I'm sure those guys before him in the last 20 years. I'm trying to think. He used to bring out the ball and carry it forward. I know Tony Adams did it to the very end of his Oscar career, but that's not what he was known for. Ferdinand, sorry, yes.
Yeah, Rio was good. Rio was
Shout
good at the ball.
Big Rio.
Coming forwards, playing passes. Yeah, and it's a good foil for Vidic as well. Because Vidic is more of a stern, like old school defender. And then you got Rio, which is more stylistic, modern. And you've got more kind of defenders in his ilk right now. Because you could say that Saliba is very similar to Rio.
I'm not really convinced. Saliba needs to go convince.
He's very good.
He's got convinced on the ball.
He's good on the ball. He's just very too calm. He's too calm that he becomes sloppy.
I think he's okay. He's convinced on the ball a bit more. But flipping, yeah, it's a good question. But yeah, I would say Messi.
I think Messi's got the biggest impact. Messi's impact is on ops. Like, as in, when Messi's local, now you have to think, okay, what do I do? How do I play against Messi? What's the tactics? Like, how do I minimize Messi's impact? What do I do to not allow Messi to do what he does?
Yeah, in that regard, that's Messi. But in terms of fans, it was probably Ronaldinho. But yeah, in terms of the